Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a big day in the ATV trailer. We are finally installing air conditioning. I've got a 12 volt roof mounted air conditioning unit here from a company called OutEquipPro. They sent this unit out. We're going to be installing it on the roof in the 14-inch standard vent opening that came standard in the trailer here. So we're going to get it installed, we're going to test it out, and we're going to see how it works for our camping trip this weekend. So let's get it installed. So guys, when I first got this trailer, I had plans to put an air conditioning unit in it. I just had no idea what sort of unit I wanted to put. And that was one of the main reasons why when I ordered this trailer, I did order it with the standard 14 by 14 inch ceiling vent there. And I did that primarily so that I would get the additional bracing and framing here in the ceiling, so that in the event I wanted to get an air conditioner down the road, I already had that bracing there. So what I came across as I was looking for different units, I found most people with trailers, sort of doing enclosed trailers and doing air conditioners, they were doing mini splits out the front with a unit mounted on the front wall. And I didn't really want something like that. It wasn't going to really work for my application. And then RVs and things like that typically have bigger 110 volt, and they're much heavier and bigger units. And that type of unit on this roof, it just wouldn't hold it. It's not, it's not reinforced in any way. It's just a standard, 24-inch on center framing in here with 1-inch framing. So it can't support that much weight. So when I came across this particular unit from OutEquipPro, I thought this was exactly what I was looking for. It's a 12 volt unit. It only weighs 45 pounds and puts out 10,000 BTU. It also has a built-in heater, so it has a 4,500 BTU heater. So on those, spring or fall camping nights where it starts to get a little cool, that's hopefully going to be enough to take a little bit of the, a little bit of the chill off in the air. But 10,000 BTUs in here, I think, is going to be perfect, and it's very low profile. I'll show you here. So it's only 6 inches tall, just over 6 inches, about 6.3 inches. And the installation is very straightforward. I need to get this ceiling vent out first, so we're going to go up top and get that removed. And then the unit itself, we're going to take this gasket, so it comes with this gasket here that you unfold, and that's going to go around the perimeter of the hole on the roof. And then the unit itself is just going to sit on that gasket. And then you have there's 4 bolts that go up from inside the trailer. And you have these brackets here that will go up and sort of sandwich the unit between the framing of the ceiling. And then you have your faceplate here, which is your control unit, so it has a digital display on it, and then your 4 different vents, as well as a couple lights as well. And it has a remote control. So just in the package here, comes with a remote control and all your hardware and stuff like that there. So it looks like a very straightforward install. I think the hardest part is going to be removing this fan and getting all the caulking and stuff like that off the roof that's up top there, and then getting the unit itself up onto the roof is probably going to be the next hardest part. So I'm going to start removing. I've already taken the inside surround off the vent fan here, but I've got to go up top and start scraping all the caulking off. So we'll do that and get the roof prepared. So just while I'm working up here on the roof, just because the roof of this trailer is just very thin aluminum sheet metal, I don't want to damage it. So I've just laid down a couple towels and then put a sheet of plywood across here just to distribute the weight, so that when I'm out here, because I don't know what the load capacity is of this roof, so I don't want to fall through it. So I've laid this out to sort of distribute the weight a little bit, and I'm going to lean across there and work on scraping all that caulking off there and remove that vent. All right, so I was able to get the vent off. It was quite the mess. This caulking and adhesive here is pretty gooey, so that's all off. Now I just got to get this cleaned up, and then we can put that foam gasket on. All right, guys, so I got the vent opening pretty well cleaned up there. I used some WD-40 and some rubbing alcohol to sort of clean up the adhesive. There's still a little bit of residue there, but it's pretty much as good as I'm going to get it for now. So I'm hoping from this point on I can do most of what I need to do from inside the trailer here. Just stand up on the stool here and go up through, and I'm going to set that the gasket around the opening here. It is bigger than what I need it to be. It's going to be bigger than this opening, so I'm going to cut it and try and get it as close to the opening as possible, and see how we can get that laid out. Okay, so I'm going to try putting the gasket on without cutting it. I think it's going to be an okay fit, and I have a diagram, and I'll put this up on the screen, that OutEquip sent me showing the positioning of the gasket. And this is upside down because you're looking at the bottom of the air conditioning unit. So when it's flipped over, the rounded corner is going to be down in this corner here. And that needs to be fairly close to the corner just so that it doesn't have any leaks, so that the drainage ports in the air conditioner don't, so that they drain outside the gasket, not inside and get into the hole here. And it's showing it offset slightly more to that side. So that's how I'm going to try and set it up right now. Peel the adhesive off, and I'll just offset it to that right side a little bit more. All right, so I've got that set, and inside the gasket there's these little spacers. There's hard, almost a plastic spacer type tube that's in here, and these need to be in there. And what it does is it stops the gasket from compressing too much. So it gives it a few millimeters of compression once the AC unit is sitting on top of it and it's cinched down, but it stops it from compressing too much. So I think that looks pretty good as that is right there. I'm going to test fit the AC unit on top of it first before I put sealant around it and just sort of make it permanent. And then I'm going to notch out a spot here that the wiring harness is going to go through. So I'll just notch a spot there for it. All right, so that was a bit of a challenge getting it up here, but I got it on the roof and just placed on top of that gasket, and it seems to be sitting well. There's a couple more gasket spacers that I'm going to put under the back once I know where it's going to be placed and once it's in its final spot. So we'll go inside and see what it looks like on the inside. All right, so here's how it's sitting inside right now. I will have to do some adjustment. I'm gonna have to slide it back because you may or may not be able to see on camera, but these holes here that you can see up through, those need to be further back on the other side of the gasket so that no water can get through those. So it looks like it needs to be just pushed back about 2 inches or so, and that'll give more clearance here as well for the control head to fit into. So I'll just shift the whole unit back a couple inches and we should be good. All right, so the sides and the front look pretty good as far as sealing. I can't see any light through that. I've adjusted it front to back as best I can to try and even everything out. But at the back, I can still sort of see a little bit of light up through that corner, and then a small spot there where there's a hole in the bottom of the AC unit. So I'd like those both to be outside the gasket. So what I'm going to do is just from up top on the roof, I'm just going to cut the gasket on each side, take a bit off the sides and slide that back portion more so it's flush with the edge of the opening here. And then both of those spots that the light is coming through should be outside the gasket. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is take about 2 inches out of this side here and that side there, and then I'm going to slide this down so it's even and slide the back up so it's even, and that way the front and back are right up against the edges, and then the sides will have their space there, but I think that'll be a better fit. So from what I've seen, the gasket still has some good adhesion if you do have to reposition it, and it seems to be holding pretty well. So I'll bring it up so it's joining there. And then when I get the sealant, I'll seal all around the edge, and I'll seal up around those joints as well. But I think that will fit much better now. So I'll sit the unit back on top and see how that fits. There, so that's a much better fit now. I don't see any light up in these corners anymore. All the way around, you can see there's no light around, so that looks like it'll be a good seal. So now all I need to do, I'll go back up on the roof. I'm going to notch out the gasket here for the electrical wire to come through, so that'll come through and just come down in this area here and then run along the roof. And that'll be it. Everything else will be done inside here. I just have to put the last two, these two gasket spacers on the back. They'll go on the roof in around this position here, just to provide support for the back of the unit. But once I stick those on, then we're done on the roof. Okay, so I've notched out the back of the gasket here, and that's gonna be size to fit that power cable. So that's going to come out of the back of the unit out the bottom and then go in and down. And I've left it a little bit high so that as the unit sits on it, it'll compress it down, and then I'm going to put some of the sealant around there as well. And I've got just some die-core lap sealant, so I'm going to go all the way around the edge. I'm going to go up these side seams where I've put those cuts as well and just seal everything up. All right, so that should pretty much seal that up. So I'll put the unit back on top and run the power cable through, and we should be good to move inside and do all the connections up. All right, so I've got the brackets mounted inside, so they're secured, just these two brackets with 4 bolts that go up into the unit, and then they sort of squeeze the unit down, and it just sandwiches between the framing of the roof here and the unit, and it just sort of sucks everything together and holds everything in place. So that's all done, that's all secure. So all I need to do now, I'm going to need to trim these bolts off because my roof, it's only about an inch, the framing's only about an inch thick here. So these bolts are going to interfere with that the control panel when it goes on. It's just not going to allow it to go up high enough. So I'm going to test fit it first, and then I'm probably just going to need to shave these off right up to the nuts there, and then that control unit should fit on perfectly. All right, guys, so this is the final installation on the roof. Very low profile, really nice looking unit. You can see how much of a gap is underneath there, just the power wires running and the gasket under there, but it's all sealed up. It's actually supposed to rain quite a bit later this afternoon. We're supposed to get some thunderstorms, so that'll allow me to see how well I've sealed it up and just make sure there's no leaks, but I'm really happy with how that looks. So I'm gonna move inside, we're gonna power it up, and we're gonna test it out. All right, so here's how it looks inside. So what I ended up doing is I didn't end up using this sort of this trim piece that goes around and surrounds the control unit here. And the reason I didn't is because I don't have a finished ceiling in this trailer, and there's no screws that actually hold that on. The faceplate itself goes up and holds that surround tight against your ceiling. And because I don't have a finished ceiling here, there was nothing for it to hold against. So I opted to not use that, which is perfectly fine for me because this is really what I need anyway. And like I said, it's not a finished ceiling, so I'm not too worried about how it looks up here. But if you did have a finished ceiling in an RV or in your trailer, then you would have that nice surround all the way around that would be covering up the brackets and just filling the space here. So this is how the unit looks installed. Right now I've just got the power cable just run over here for now and just run down to my 100 amp hour lead time battery here. I've since upgraded. This is what I used to run my trailer off for the last 2 years, but I just a couple weeks ago upgraded to a 200 amp hour lead time battery. So I'm going to hardwire everything to there. I just need to extend my cabling. So I right now just don't have enough to go all the way around and down into that cabinet. So as soon as I get that, then it'll be run to there. But for now, it doesn't matter. It's running off the 100 amp hour for right now. And we'll get it powered up. So this is the remote here that it comes with. So we'll turn it on. And the unit just came on there. And it's, I can feel the fan on the roof spooling up. It's really quiet. It's spooled up, feels like it's running at full speed now. It's a very soft start to it, so you shouldn't get really too much power spike. And right now, yeah, I can feel the AC pumping right now. I've got a weather station over here, just so I can see the temperature. Turn this up here. So right now, inside the trailer here's 28.8 degrees. I've got everything closed up, all the doors closed up in here to try and heat it up. So 28.8 and 45% humidity. And outside, I've got the sensor outside just sitting in the sun. It's sitting at 36 degrees outside. It's definitely not 36 degrees outside right now, but that's with it sitting and baking in the sun. So 28 degrees in here. I'm gonna leave this running for a while now, and I wanna see also what it'll bring the humidity down to. The humidity right now is showing at 45 inside here. So I wanna see if we can get that down. And keep in mind, this is not an insulated trailer in any way. You know, it has the wood walls, but the ceiling is just that, you know, just sheet aluminum. So that gets very hot to the touch when it sits out here baking in the sun. And the trailer is just not sealed up. So down in the corners here, there's spaces there. I can fill that with some foam. So I might do that. I'm gonna close up this vent here as well, just to keep the cool air in. So everything else is sealed up, and we're gonna, this actually feels really cool. As soon as I walk right underneath here, it's really blowing nice and cool. And that's with the fan speed on high right now. So I'm gonna let this sit for a little while and come back out and see what we've got the temperature down to. All right, guys, so this is gonna be our 30-minute test. It's 11:18, it's been going since about 10:45. This is the outdoor sensor I had sitting here, which was showing 36 degrees on the screen inside. It's not 36 degrees out right now by any means, but you can imagine how much hotter it would be on that roof with the sun beating on it. It gets extremely hot to the touch. So we're gonna go inside now. I can hear the unit running, just barely though, like it's just a light hum that I can hear right now. So I'm pretty much thinking if it was even able to maintain temperature with how hot it's getting out here right now, then we're doing well. So I'm gonna go in quickly and try and not let too much cool out. Oh, and it is definitely cool in here. It's very noticeable. And, well, look at that, 26.4, and it's showing 31 outside. So we've gone down over 2 degrees in 30 minutes, and it is very comfortable in here, like noticeably cool compared to outside. Even coming all the way back here at the back, that's really impressive for 30 minutes of running in here in a non-insulated trailer with an aluminum roof that gets burning to the touch. So that's really impressive. It does have a couple little lights on the bottom there as well. I'll show you on the remote here. I'm not sure how bright they are. So you've got those. I'll turn off the big lights in here and see. You probably can't tell on camera, but it's just a nice little glow. I have my regular interior lights on my aux beam here that I use when we're camping and stuff like that, to avoid using the big overhead lights. But without those on, actually it is, maybe you can see, you probably can't see on the video just with how dark it is, but it's just a nice glow in here. Like you can move around no problem just with those little lights on. If I turn that off, oh, and the remote actually, maybe you can't see that, but the remote is glowing in the dark. So I can see all the buttons. So there, maybe now you can see, it might not be showing up on camera, but I can definitely see in here pretty good. So I'll turn those lights off. Yeah, so that is, it's actually just dropped now again another 0.1 degree, 26.3. So it's continuing to drop. Wow, that's really impressive. So I just wanted to show you guys quick one more update. So it's been another 15 minutes. It's now 11:32 and we're down another degree, 25.8. It is noticeably cool in here. So this is working really well. One last thing I want to test here, guys, is the heater function. So obviously I don't need heat on a day like today, but I wanted to test it out either way. So there are two different models. You can get one with and without a heater. So this particular one, and it's not much of a price difference in between the two, maybe about $75 or so. So this one is the 10,000 BTU air conditioner and a 4,500 BTU heater. So what I'm hoping for is just enough heat to take the chill off. You know, if you're camping in the spring or fall and it gets cool in here at night, just enough to take the chill off. And I've got it set right now, so you can see at 86 degrees Fahrenheit there. The fan's on full, so the fan doesn't blow as hard when the heat's on. I don't even know if you can hear that right now, but it is on full, and it is blowing a decent amount, and there is definitely heat coming out of here. So it just doesn't blow as hard as the AC unit does, because obviously the big fan on the roof is not spinning for the heat. It's just a heating coil that's in here, and I guess maybe a small fan somewhere to push that through. So it seems to be working pretty good. So I'm gonna turn the heat off and get the cooling back on in here, because it's hot. Right now it's up to, what are we up to in here? 33.4 in the trailer right now. I haven't had the AC on. I've been gone for the last few hours, so I turned it off and it's got up to really high temperature in here. So I might try turning the AC back on and see what we can bring it down to. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much gonna wrap up the install. Everything went really well. It's very simple to install. It is super quiet. Like, the fan is the only thing we can hear going right now. I don't know if you can hear it on video. You probably can, but it's no noisier than just having a regular fan in here. And when you're outside the trailer, you almost cannot hear anything. The compressor on the roof is virtually silent. It's really nice. So if you're using it on a campsite or something like that, which I'm gonna be doing this weekend coming up, you shouldn't have any problem with noise. It's really nice. One thing I am going to still do is run it properly. So as I said earlier, right now I've just got it temporarily run to this battery for testing and whatnot. But as soon as I get the proper parts to extend those cables and get it run down into my, my big 200 amp hour battery, that's going to give me an even better idea as to how efficient it is, because I'll be able to monitor it on my battery monitor here. So it's going to tell me what sort of wattage it's drawing, and you know, state of battery charge and all that kind of stuff. So look for that coming up. I'm going to be testing that this weekend. Right now is Wednesday. We're going for a camping trip on Friday over the weekend. So sometime next week I'll have another video up, and I'm going to talk about this air conditioner, because this is going to be working on overtime this weekend on that trip. But overall, I'm really happy with it. Check out OutEquipPro if you're looking for something like this, a 12 volt air conditioner, very lightweight and very efficient compared to the 110 volt options that are out there. So check out OutEquip. I'll leave a link in the description. I really appreciate you guys watching this. If you did like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and stay tuned for more updates on this one. Take care, guys.